War asks men to be soldiers first and human beings second. But humanity doesn't disappear just because you put on a uniform. It leaks out in letters home, in quiet confessions, in the desperate need to stay connected to the people and places that made you who you are.
During World War II, soldiers tried to bridge the impossible distance between battlefields and home with words on paper, small requests, honest feelings.
They didn't realize that even these innocent acts, writing about the weather, admitting fear, asking for warm socks, could be turned against them. Military censors watched everything. Commanders worried that a single careless sentence could damage morale, reveal troop movements, or weaken fighting spirit. What follows are small, deeply human moments that could lead to serious consequences, court-martials, reprimands, investigations, simply because a soldier forgot, for just a moment, that he wasn't allowed to be fully himself anymore. Number 1. Sharing personal fears in a letter. A soldier might write home saying he was scared, exhausted, or losing hope, feelings that lived in every man's chest as he waited in a foxhole or marched through enemy territory. But commanders believed these letters could damage public morale if they spread beyond a single kitchen table. Even admitting fear, something every soldier felt when shells screamed overhead, could be labeled as defeatist talk. The military worried that if mothers read their sons' terror, if wives felt their husbands' despair, the home front might crack. So censors watched. They read between the lines. A completely honest moment, a confession whispered on paper in a dark tent, could turn into an accusation of disloyalty, and a young man's attempt to stay human could become evidence against him. Number 2. Mentioning weather or landscape in a letter. Talking about the rain that turned foxholes into mud pits, the snow that froze fingers to rifle triggers, the forests that swallowed sound, or the mountains that seemed to stretch forever. It all seemed innocent, just a way to help family picture where he was. But the military feared these tiny details could reveal troop locations to enemy intelligence. A line like, "It's colder here than back home," or "We're in hilly country now," was sometimes enough to make censors cut the letter with thick black ink. Or worse, report the soldier for a security breach. What felt like sharing a small piece of his world, helping his mother imagine his life, could be interpreted as accidentally giving the enemy a map. The loneliness of not being able to describe even the sky above him was its own kind of punishment. Number 3. Describing food conditions to family. If a soldier told his parents the meals were awful, or that they hadn't eaten properly in days, or that the coffee tasted like dirty water and the bread was so hard it could break teeth, it could be viewed as harmful to public perception. The government wanted citizens to believe their boys were well fed and cared for. Even simple frustration about cold soup, weevils in the flour, or another meal of tasteless rations could be interpreted as criticizing the army, undermining the war effort, damaging morale. The military didn't take these complaints lightly. What seemed like venting to a worried mother, just wanting her to know he was hungry, could become a formal charge. The bitter irony was that soldiers often wrote about food because it was one of the few safe topics left, or so they thought. Number 4. Saying someone they know was wounded. Writing, "Tom got hit yesterday, but he's alive," or "Jimmy's in the hospital now, say a prayer for him," feels like an act of comfort, a way to prepare families gently, to let them know their son's friends were still breathing. But naming an injured soldier, even to offer hope, was considered sensitive information that belonged to the military alone. Families back home could panic when they heard a name. Rumors could spread through small towns like wildfire, and the military wanted full control of casualty reports. The when, the how, the who. They didn't want soldiers playing messenger. A caring update, meant to ease someone's worry or share the weight of what he'd witnessed, could be a punishable offense. The silence he was forced to keep made the war feel even more isolating. Number 5. Writing about boredom or waiting around. Soldiers often sat for days doing nothing, cleaning rifles for the 10th time, playing cards in the mud, staring at the same gray sky, waiting for orders that never seemed to come. Many wanted to share this feeling of endless waiting, this strange combination of anxiety and monotony that ate at their minds. But describing inactivity could accidentally imply what the army was planning, like building up troops for an attack, holding position before a major push, or concealing movements from the enemy. A harmless complaint about boredom, about going stir-crazy with nothing to do, could be seen as leaking strategic hints to anyone reading between the lines. So even honesty about the crushing tedium of war, the hours that felt like days, the waiting that was sometimes worse than fighting, had to be swallowed in silence. War turned simple human moments into punishable offenses. Actions that should have been harmless suddenly carried consequences. And remembering that reminds us just how heavy those times truly were. If you want more hidden pieces of history like this, hit subscribe. There's a lot more to uncover. It reminds us just how heavy those times truly were. If you want more hidden pieces of history like this, hit subscribe. There's a lot more to uncover.